Museum. Kat is gracious enough to take these for us, and so we'd like to thank them as well. I would remind you that there are calendars of events for the Sustainable Business Council and also a holiday gift idea list out on our website, www.sustainablebusinesscouncil.org. Tonight we have two members of the management from the Patagonia outlet in Dillon, and they are here to talk to us about the history of Patagonia and also Patagonia's relationship with the sustainable consumer. We have Beth Sullivan and Kathy Rubish, and I'll let them take over from here to tell you a little bit about more what they're going to talk about and about the company.
Thanks for coming out tonight. We appreciate being invited. I think we're one of the newer members of the Sustainability Council, and we're really excited to be here. We have a PowerPoint presentation for you this evening, and then we have a time frame if you haven't had a chance to look at it, and that we'd like to take you through. But first, most importantly, did everyone get a chance to guess how many 2-liter pop bottles it takes to make the chinchilla fleece? Yeah? Okay. So, it takes 25. So I have 3 correct guesses. And we do have a nice selection down at 34 North Idaho and Dillon, Montana of these fleeces. So if you weren't a lucky winner and would like to still get one, we do have some more down there. But I have 3. Could you do me a favor and choose one of the names? It's Marcus. Marcus? Oh, good. Congratulations. So we'll get your size and color that you prefer. So just before we get started, is there any questions you guys have so far of any of the literature you're able to look at? Or just a quick bio for myself and Kathy as part of the management team down in Dillon, Montana. Next week we'll celebrate our 14th anniversary. It's pretty exciting. The question we always get is, why Dillon? You know, why not Missoula or Bozeman? Or yeah, what's up with no shop in Missoula? And, because we are an outlet, we are located in a place that, well, not just because we're an outlet. It started back when Yvon Chenard was fishing one day with one of his good buddies, Robbie Garrett. And they were yucking it up, and I think there were some beverages involved. And they said, you know what, we should open a shop in Dillon. And they're going, yeah, we should do it. And 2 weeks later, which would be next week, 14 years ago, we opened a shop. And they built it in a couple weeks, and they put it up real shabbily. In fact, they had to come back in and secure the walls because they thought, oh, they're not going to last. And so we are celebrating our 14th anniversary. We're really excited about that. We've done a lot of things locally that are sustainable and just community involvement that we'd like to touch bases with you after if you guys have any questions. And after the PowerPoint presentation, we'd like to go over just a few of the major things that we have that we feel we're most proud of, our environmental campaigns and just some of the choices that Yvon has made for his company. We have 16 employees now, about 5 full-time, and the rest are part-time. And we have a great crew down there. We have a nice-sized store and a lot of product. We're at least 1 season behind. We have 3 major sales. So you guys, if you haven't been able to come down and see us, we'd encourage you to do that. So we're going to slip this aside, and the PowerPoint presentation will be here. And if by chance you end up leaving before and have any questions for us, just give us a call. Okay. Whoops. Thanks. Is that too cumbersome there? It is a little bit, huh? No, it's fine. It's okay? Yeah, I don't know. We're thrilled to be here representing the community of Patagonia this evening. Thanks for having us and inviting us to come to speak about the history and the business philosophy. Many of you may be familiar with Patagonia, but you might not know that the mountain skyline on our logo is actually derived from the Fitzroy mountain range in Patagonia region of Chile and Argentina, which you see here in this image. Our founder, Yvon Chouinard, climbed Fitzroy as a young man and was so inspired that Patagonia region that he named the company after it. The natural beauty of Patagonia is still an inspiration for the company. Its biodiversity reflects our philosophy that diversity and balance are the keys to success in business. Most people associate Patagonia with high-quality products like this shell. Sorry. But Patagonia is much more than just products. Patagonia is about the soul of the sport, a genuine passion for outdoor pursuits. It's about intrepid athletes exploring their limits in the outdoors and enjoying the journey. Our founder, Yvon Chouinard, always says that in all his experience as a climber, he's never focused on the end goal of reaching the summit. It's a process that interests him, and that's how Patagonia works as well. Achieving our bottom line is important, but how we get there is what really matters. Yvon founded the company originally for selfish reasons. He was dissatisfied with the climbing gear that was available at the time, so he set out to build a better mousetrap. He was not an inventor. Rather, he was an innovator who saw a need and set out to fill it, a classic entrepreneur. At the age of 18, in 1957, he began innovating on the climbing hardware that was available at the time. He took out his first business loan for $825.35 from his parents to set up a blacksmith shop to forge pitons. Pitons are small metal anvils that help anchor climbing ropes in rock walls. Yvon modeled his pitons off of those made by European climbers, but he made his out of hard steel, a much stronger, more durable material than the soft metal pitons made in Europe. Yvon started out selling his hardware out of the back of his car to friends and fellow climbers in Yosemite, where he made a series of first ascents. Slowly, demand grew to a point where Yvon could not forge all the hardware himself, so he joined up with a close friend, Tom Frost, and founded Chouinard Equipment. By 1970, Chouinard Equipment was the largest supplier of climbing hardware in the U.S., but Yvon soon realized that pitons, the best-selling product in the line, were ruining the very places he loved to climb. After an ascent of a trashed-out route on El Capitan that had been pristine a few summers earlier, Yvon and Tom made a dramatic decision. They decided to stop selling pitons, their main source of revenue. The decision marked the first environmentally driven decision in the history of the company, which eventually led to the precursor of our mission statement. We'll talk about how this evolved into our current mission statement in a minute. But the first mandate was to make the best quality stuff with the least amount of harm. Yvon decided that pitons were simply too harmful to make in good conscience. Fortunately, there was an environmentally sound alternative to pitons. Yvon became an advocate of using aluminum chocks that would be wedged in by hand, rather than hammered in and out of cracks. Although chocks were popular among British climbers, they were not well known in the U.S. Ever the innovators, Yvon and Tom designed their own chocks, called hexentrics and stoppers, and sold them in small quantities, mainly out of the back of Yvon's car, until the appearance of the first Chouinard Equipment catalog in 1972. Yvon and Frost used the catalog as a means of educating climbers about what they called clean climbing. In an opening essay entitled "A Word," they talked about the importance of leaving no trace and respecting the rocks that they were so passionate about. The company has come a long way since the day of Chouinard Equipment. Yvon and Tom Frost eventually went their separate ways. Yvon left the hardware business altogether and founded the apparel part of the business with his wife Melinda in the early 70s. Today we have revenues of approximately $220 million and 1,000 employees worldwide, including our U.S. headquarters in Ventura, California, our European headquarters in Paris, France, and our Japanese headquarters in Kamakura. While the company's mission statement has evolved over the time, we've stayed true to our roots. we still aim to make the best stuff with the least amount of harm. But we've added a critical third element, to use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. We don't want to go out of business doing the right thing. Without financial stability, we would never be able to deliver our mission. To guide us toward our goals, we developed a set of core values. The pursuit of ever greater quality in everything we do. Relationships built on integrity and respect. Serving as a catalyst for individuals and corporate environmental activism. And constantly finding new ways of doing things. These values help us in our efforts to strike a delicate balance between four sometimes competing goals: product, quality, community involvement, environmental activism, and financial stability. We believe that balancing these four goals is the key to running a truly sustainable and in the long term successful business, and that none of these goals can be realized independently. We haven't attained our goal yet, but we're constantly striving, and that's what's important. As Yvonne likes to say, focus on the process and the rest will follow. So let me go ahead and talk about each of our values as they relate to our four objectives. Let me start with explaining our definition of product quality. Producing quality product is central to everything we do at Patagonia and guides virtually all of our decision making, from the decision process to the long-range planning. We have a comprehensive definition of quality, which is captured in our 9 points of quality. According to our definition, a product can be high quality without delivering, a product can't be high quality without delivering on each of these attributes. For example, if a sportswear shirt looks great but contains unsustainable grown conventional cotton fibers, we consider it to be a low quality product. If an alpine shell performs well in the field but is shoddily built and wears out too quickly, we wouldn't want to put our name on it. In keeping with our philosophy of building the best product with the least amount of harm, we look at the entire product life cycle when we talk about quality.
At the same time, we recognize that even with the best quality product, we can't achieve our mission without maintaining strong relationships with all of our stakeholders, including our employees, customers, suppliers, and neighbors. This means providing top-notch benefits and a healthy working environment for our employees, as well as being a good citizen in Ventura and the broader community. Ideally, these relationships are symbiotic. Our generous employee benefits program earned us a spot on Working Mothers Magazine's Top 100 list 14 times since the list's inception. And it has also earned us an uncommonly loyal workforce with a turnover rate far below the industry average. Over the years, we climbed Fortune's list of the 100 best companies to work for, ascending to 41st last year. But this year, they changed our eligibility requirements. We don't have 1,000 U.S.-based employees, so we're too small to be considered. With or without the outside recognition, we're always striving to be a great company, trying to walk the talk, so to speak, living up to our values, which leads me to our environmental values, which lie at the core of who we are as a company. We know that every business as we know it today is unsustainable. We recognize that we aren't a sustainable business and that every product we make pollutes. But we are always striving to minimize the impact of our products and operations while supporting activists committed to addressing the environmental crisis. Every step of the way in Patagonia's history, we have made an effort to educate ourselves about issues and then make choices in alignment with our values. For example, when we set out to determine the environmental impact of our products, we needed the facts.
So in 1991, we conducted a life cycle analysis of the four major fibers we use: wool, polyester, nylon, and cotton. We knew that none of these fibers were good for the environment, but we were shocked to discover just how harmful they really were. We were making a lot of fleece jackets from virgin polyester. At the time, virgin polyester derived from petroleum was the only polyester fiber available. We worked with a company called Wellman to find alternatives. They developed a process that takes 2-liter soda bottles, which are also made of polyester, and recycles them the new raw material is turned into the jackets. We introduced the fabric into our line in 1993. By using recycled rather than virgin polyester, we diverted 40 million 2-liter soda bottles from landfills from 1993 to 1999. For every 150 PCR post-consumer recycled chinchilla jackets we sell, we save 42 gallons of oil and prevent a half a ton of toxic air emissions. On top of the direct benefits, the process helps to create a market for recycled materials. For the last 10 years, we've used PCR fabric, post-consumer recycled, where possible. We haven't been able to use it in all polyester garments, however, because its short fiber lengths weren't suited for the woven fabrics, like skiing shells or running shorts. Recently, one of our suppliers made an exciting breakthrough and developed a process to make polyester in long, continuous filament fiber, which can be woven as well as knit from any plastic source, including all dashboards and school desks. It's an exciting development which will allow us to avoid even more pollution and continue to work toward our mission.
The next fabric we looked at was cotton. Conventionally grown cotton surprised us by being, arguably, the most environmentally harmful fiber in our product line. On an annual basis, 25% of the world's insecticide use and 8% of the world's pesticide use is used on cotton crops. A single crop of conventionally grown cotton uses 400 million pounds of pesticides. Armed with this knowledge, we felt we had to do something. We started a campaign pushing people to go organic. Most importantly, though, we chose to use organic cotton in 100% of our cotton clothing. Armed with this knowledge, we felt we had to do something. We started a campaign pushing, oh geez, I'm sorry you guys, I just said that, didn't I? We are honestly shocked to find that cotton, the fiber most people view as natural and benign, was so destructive environmentally. When our fabric team raised the issue of organic cotton with our board in late 1994, Yvonne declared that he wanted us to convert the entire line to organic by the spring of 1996. Every stitch of Patagonia clothing that contained cotton would have to be reevaluated. Yvonne knew that this was going to cause a major hit in revenue, but he also knew that it was the right thing to do. Initially, going organic was a very difficult change. We had to raise prices and take lower margins. We had to drop a large number of styles because we couldn't get enough organic cotton at a competitive price. But there were positive ramifications as well. We forged deeper relationships with our suppliers because we had to work directly with farmers to address our concerns. The switch to organic cotton brought the entire company together, from the sales reps to the retail store staff, to the catalog team to the buyers. Everyone was focused on a common goal. Ultimately, our big bet on organics paid off. When competition in the cotton sportswear market heated up in the late 90s, we had a strong point of differentiation with organics. Our revenue came back, and our growth has kept pace with the competition. Most importantly, it was the right thing to do, and it's something we're very proud of. The fact that it is profitable is important, but the excitement comes from having done the right thing.
Facilities is another area in which we've been able to integrate our environmental ethic into our business. For example, our distribution center in Reno is a showcase for sustainable building techniques. A ventilation system draws cool mountain air into the building in the evenings so we don't have to air condition the building. Countertops in the restrooms are 100% recycled plastic. Carpeting throughout the building is 100% recycled polyester. Portions of the office walls are made of formaldehyde-free compressed filled straw. The wood is all either reclaimed or sustainably harvested. Paint, steel framing, ceiling, and shower tiles use recycled content. Radiant heat panels in the ceiling direct heat only where it's needed, at workstations using motion sensors. The roof is outfitted with solar tracking skylights, which significantly reduce energy use inside the building and provides natural light throughout the facility. 88 rooftop mirrors follow the sun, reflecting the natural light into the interior workspaces. In 1997, we opened a new building at our Ventura campus, which uses some of the same principles. We recycled almost 100% of the waste generated during construction. Steel framework was 98.5 recycled content. Steel studs have minimum of 50% recycled steel content. 90% of the wood in the building is reclaimed. The walls are insulated with blown-in, 100% recycled and ground-up newspaper. Rolled insulation is 25% recycled glass with no formaldehyde content. Roof tile recycled from a building in nearby town. Shower tiles are 70% recycled glass. Bathroom stall partitions are 100% recycled plastic. All paint is no VOC, made with no volatile organic compound. Flooring made with natural, non-toxic materials. In 2001, we opened a retail store in Portland, Oregon, in the same building as one of our nonprofit partners, EcoTrust. EcoTrust spearheaded the renovation of the building, which was originally built in 1895, incorporating innovative technologies into the design. They assembled a mix of nonprofit and business tenants with the shared environmental missions. The redevelopment contractor estimated that more than 98% of the construction waste has been recycled or reclaimed, a Portland city record. The building also featured an eco-roof that combined with ingenious landscaping filters and absorbs most of the site's rainwater. And we were the first company in California in 1998 to commit to 100% new wind, a renewable resource, for our power. So that's looking at some examples of what we're working on to execute our statement of purpose internally. You may know more about some of our external efforts all of us at Patagonia are proud to associate ourselves with. This is truly where the good work of the entrepreneur 40 years ago and that he learned along the way results in a significant ecological contribution. Even in an area as seemingly mundane as product packaging, we've managed to find environmental improvements which simultaneously boosted our bottom line. In the early days of our base layers business, we were still selling polypropylene. We packaged it in plastic bags with a cardboard tag, which cost us 20 cents per unit. Next, we shifted to paper packaging, similar to a mini grocery bag. Our environmental impact was lower and the cost came down to 16 cents a unit. Now, with our Capline line, we just roll up the bare garment and wrap it with the recycled cardboard and 2 rubber bands. We call it the sushi roll. It's reduced our cost to 6 cents per unit and eliminated tons of waste. As an added advantage, the exposed packaging allows customer to touch the product, which was actually increased sales. Retailers thought it was going to be terrible. They told us time and time again that consumers would hate the sushi roll. But again, when you do the right thing, success just follows.
Our environmental initiatives go beyond the internal operations of the company. We have an extensive environmental grants program, which has donated over $19 million to grassroots environmental organizations since 1984. Our policy is to give 1% of sales or 10% of pre-tax profits, whichever is greater, to environmental groups around the world. We view this as an earth tax in exchange for the non-renewable resources we use up through the course of doing business. We believe it's incumbent upon us to give back. Yvonne Chenard is presently spearheading a movement to get more companies to adopt the earth tax through a new nonprofit called 1% for the Planet. We take our grants program very seriously. We get about 1,500 proposals a year, and we fund about 350. A grants council appointed from within the company decides where that money goes. In addition to financial donations, we also donate time and expertise to environmental nonprofits. We fund environmental internships for employees who have been with the company for a year. Through the program, employees can leave their jobs at Patagonia for up to 2 months to work full-time for the environmental group of their choice. Patagonia continues to pay their salary and benefits while they are gone, and the environmental group gets them for free. More than 350 employees have participated worldwide since the program began. This is a photo of our most recent intern who worked in Yosemite tracking wolves. We also host a conference for environmental nonprofits once every 18 months called the Tools for Grassroots Activists Conference. We bring in leaders from grassroots environmental organizations and provide them with training from outside experts on topics like fundraising and lobbying. We also give them training on the lessons we've learned telling Patagonia's story to help make their organizations more effective. As part of our partnership with environmental nonprofits, we donate in-kind services, including advertising design and web development. Just as we did in our first Chenard equipment catalog and in our organic cotton campaign, we've continued to devote space in our catalogs, on our websites, and in our retail stores to communicate with our customers about environmental issues that matter to us. We are this was a little bit old, sorry. We recently ran a campaign called Vote the Environment, which encouraged customers to make the environment their #1 issue when they voted on November 2nd.
We've also supported our former CEO, Chris McDivitt, in the creation of Conservación Patagonica, a land trust devoted to rehabilitating and preserving the beautiful land of Patagonia. She has preserved 400,000 acres so far, turning it over to the government for national park status. We were corporate charter members in the group and donated thousands of dollars in the in-kind services to its launch. So this leads us to the final element, the need to create a financially successful business so that we can keep this wonderful experiment going. The results show that there is truth in Yvonne's old saw, that whenever he's done the right thing for the environment, even in the days of great odds, he ended up making money. As I had said, the financial success is critical. Without it, we'd never achieve our greater mission. Despite our efforts, we recognize that we aren't perfect. As I said, everything that we make pollutes. We make products that aren't necessary. We aren't carbon neutral. We do not recapture 100% of our packaging. Realize we have miles to go before we can even approach sustainability. But we're continually striving to improve, striving to balance product quality, financial stability, and social and environmental excellence. We have to strive to use 100% renewable energy. We have to carefully examine what we pump out into the world as products as waste. We have to lower the impact of our products while we increase their quality. We have to continually renew and review our efforts socially within our own company and with the communities in which we work. We have to live up to our promise and continue to chase our potential. Clearly, we have to we clearly have our work cut out for us. We always look to nature to inspire us on the quest for balance. It's not an easy road. But with our knack for seeing things differently, we believe we're moving in the right direction. Oh, no, that's okay. Here. So another question that we frequently get is, how can you be in retail for so long? I've worked for Patagonia for 18 years. Kathy's worked for Patagonia for over 11, and we brought Holly Millers, who's been here with us for over 12 years, and Chuck Irestone, who was helped find the Sustainable Council, used to work for us as well. And we have employees that are there 10, 15 years, and we say it's not just selling clothes, that we have this major thing that we're doing for the environment, and that's what keeps us going. And we feel like we get paid to be activists by selling our clothing. Some of the benefits that Kathy had talked about that are extended is that internship is wonderful. They pay for you to go. You choose a group that is aligned with our campaigns, and you work for them for 2 months, and they pay your benefits. So I know that a lot of you folks that work for nonprofit organizations that are environmentally based, call us up. Get our employees psyched to come out and work for you. It's 2 months that you can, that's filing, that's out in the field, that's on the front lines, that's anything that you guys do. Do you have any questions?
Is Patagonia owned by just the founder, or is there?
It is by Yvon Chouinard, the founder, and his wife Melinda.
Has there been any talk about diversifying, or is it a legacy to spin it off into the employees in terms of employee ownership?
With Chouinard Equipment, that's what happened. And now it's Black Diamond, the employees bought it. But you always hear that people had heard some things, but I haven't directly heard anything. Uh-huh.
What's been your experience with organic wool?
It's fairly new for us. We're like, organic wool, that seems odd, but it's more about how the sheep is treated and how what they're fed. And the feel is wonderful. And we have a lot of excitement behind it. But at the outlet, we're usually a season or two behind. So we haven't seen any at the outlet yet.
I wanted you to, if you could touch on the customer service policies of Patagonia, because when, working for you guys and working at the trailhead and doing the behind the scenes and working for wholesale, it's just the best all around. Still, they're the best company to work for on that level, and then on retail level, and just like what the training and all that. When you just talk about that.
They make it really easy for us. So when we see it, and we hope this happens when you come visit our store, if you have a return or a warranty issue, which we can talk about the ironclad warranty as well. But when we see someone that comes in through the door that has a worn garment or something in a bag that looks like a return, we're excited about that. We're like, yeah, you got a return? And they're, well, because usually when you walk into a store and you have a return, they're going to ask me if I wore it, what did I sweat in it, did I do this, and like, how did I get the burn in it, And we're like, yeah, you got a return, and how can we help you? Let's find you something. And right now, as the temperature starts to turn cold, if someone brings in their winter jacket, they're like, yeah, but we can't, I can't part with this. I need it. It's the only jacket I have. So we said, well, let's figure this out. We send them with an envelope. We get them a new jacket sent from wherever if we can't do the exchange right on the spot. Send them with a return envelope. Say, hey, when you get your new one, shove it in this envelope, send it back to us. So we want to make sure that that you're warm for those few months or those few days that you don't have your jacket. So it's pretty exciting for us. They tell us, and it's really hard because that's one of the hardest things for me to instill in my employees is it's not your money. Don't take an emotional tie to it, and that's the toughest thing. Oh, they said they never wore it, and there's a ski ticket attached to it, and it's like ski pass, and it's the hardest thing to just let your ego down and say, you know what? Let's get you into something that you're going to wear, and you're going to be psyched about wearing, and you're going to tell your buddies about.
You talked a little bit about trying to approach neutral carbon emissions. How's Patagonia trying to get better about carbon emissions?
That one's a tough one for me. I don't know the direct answer to that. I know that right now, I don't know exactly how many folks that's their job, is that they're environmentalists. How are we affecting the environment positively and negatively? And so, Kath, do you have an answer to that?
I was going to say, there's a new campaign, it's called GoHo, and we haven't been educated on it quite enough, but it's getting your house in order, and they're doing a whole nother internal audit, and one of the auditing factors is the emissions, the carbon, the petroleum, the dyes that we use, just all of the different environmental factors. So we'll probably be hearing more about that over the next year in the catalogs and with the campaigns.
I guess it's along the same lines, but where is like most of your stuff manufactured?
Um,
Seems like most of it's not in the U.S.
The chinchilla fleece is in Massachusetts, and percentage-wise, I don't have a percentage for you, but we do make overseas as well. We used to make our luggage in Dillon, which was a great connection for us. It's that friend of Yvonne's that I told you about earlier. He actually made the luggage next door in the same building as us. And part of that, he does make some of the products still next door, but most of that was sent off as well. And we have...
Capline. Most of Capline is made in California. A lot of it is.
The hemp is from Turkey. I know it's Turkish hemp.
Can I ask you a question on hemp? What's Patagonia's role in allowing hemp to be grown legally in this country? So,
That's a great question. Do you guys know that?
what's the question? What's Patagonia's role in getting hemp to be grown legally in this country?
Oh.
Because I did read recently that there's a handful of states, and I think Montana might be one of them, that is trying to decriminalize the growing of industrial hemp. Yeah, there's maybe like 8 of them in the United States. But
I haven't heard of us in a role like that at all. I see us at that role, but I haven't heard it. These are great questions. I should find out and get back to you guys.
You know, you guys have had these amazing catalogs throughout the years, you know, I mean, they've made different size transformations, and this is an amazing thing that you put out, you know, it's like
This huge page, and then it's
Yeah.
gotten to the little,
great
and yeah.
essays. I mean, what's that whole graphic division about? I mean, is it do you know much about that, and like with, you know, the budget and where it gets published, and how that's evolved at all?
Other than the Vote the Environment campaign, we don't advertise very much as a company because we put so much time and effort into the catalog. And it does. You can see that these are all the environmental essays that are from the catalogs. And it's great retail space to give. I mean, you figure as much of these environmental campaigns, they could have had quite a few products on. Here's one with Doug Peacock, the Grizzly Wars. I mean, here's one for Stage of Siege in Tibet. You figure this is a lot of product that they could have on that, but they've committed to these issues, and they're that much retail space. As far as the graphics
Do they
go,
do that out of Ventura?
yes,
Yeah.
all the catalog folks are in Ventura. And most of the shots come from people out there using our gear. They still encourage people to send slides,
Yeah.
and they give you product when you get pictured in there.
Right.
Could you flesh out a little more what overseas, when it's made overseas, is it fair labor, or is it, where is it made?
Was it FLA, Fair Labor? And we actually have a gentleman that is his only job, and he goes and he audits these, and that they have a new organization called FLA, Fair Labor.
.org. I think there's a website.
And that was one bit of information we failed to bring. We're like on our way, but we remembered that. But that is his job, and he goes over and he audits. You know, there are announced audits and there are unannounced audits to make sure that the employees are being treated fairly at a working wage within what is considered a working wage there, and making sure that the product is a quality product coming out of the
So
shops.
does Patagonia have its own set of filters for fair wage and fair labor?
They do within the industry in that country. And I'd love to be able to give you that website, and I'll call you with that. And I'm sorry I don't have that. That's one bit of information that was really important to us that we didn't have. But that's his job. That's all he does, is make sure that the folks are treated appropriately.
We'll post that to our website.
Oh, that'd be perfect. And I can send you that tomorrow.
There's also a link directly from Patagonia.com. If you go in there, it talks about the domestic
There is a link right off
There,
our
yeah.
Patagonia.com site.
I'm sorry, when you go in and it talks about the company, there it's about a third of the way down, and you click on it and it takes you right to the other website.
In terms of the long-term employees, are there mechanisms for tapping that energy, that discretionary effort of employees in terms of product creation or anything else? Is it fairly top-down, or is it?
Well,
top-down?
they consider us frontline, and they are always asking for comments from us. You know, they'll show us and say, hey, what do you think? Or we can tell right off the bat what items we'll see in the outlet. You know, we'll go, oh, we'll see those. Those won't sell, you know. And we can tell, and we're like, gosh, they should just bring, they should just bring us to Ventura, because we can tell right off the bat what we will see. And I think that they do. They get these frontline employees together, and they say, what do you guys think of this color? What do you think? And then even at our Dillon store, they'll send us product. They'll say, this is what's coming down. What do you think? How do you think it performs? Can you give us some feedback? And we test it out for them.
They also take a lot of customer comments, because we file a report once a month with comments from customers. If you didn't like the way a zipper worked, or if you're asking, hey, please bring back this old piece of luggage that I loved, we fill out a form and send that in every month. So they get product feedback from customers.
For the business folks in that is, can you give us a sense of who customers, what's the demographic, who we're talking about?
And I don't know if all of you have seen Dillon. We don't cater most to Dillon folks. I would say maybe 20%, 25, 30. You think? Yeah. lower
I
than
think it's
that.
a lot lower than that, yeah.
Kath grew up in Dillon, so she'd have a better feel than I would have. We get a lot of folks from Missoula. We get a lot of folks from Bozeman. Just, I would say, like a 3-hour radius. We have a lot of folks that plan their vacations around coming and shopping at the outlet, which is great. We do mail orders all over across the nation, and you can tell when we open at 10, it's our customers from New York, New England, and as you know, at 3 o'clock, then the California folks start to call, and you can see the progression across the states, and that helps us out. And then those folks, when they're in the area, will come and visit.
Do you have a sense of income distributions, age, gender, those kinds of things?
You know, right now we're seeing a lot of hunters. Up until then, we saw a lot of anglers and their spouses or friends that they are with. For the most, I don't know. I think it really changes. We see a lot of older folks come in shopping for their grandchildren. We see a lot of parents during Parents Week at the colleges come through. It's a lot of.
Sports tournaments and things.
Yeah.
Like that, bring a lot of people through.
It's hard to generalize an age or a sex. It's more like we have hunters in town. We have a sale going on. We have a volleyball tournament. It's more like that.
Over our Labor Day weekend, a few Labor Days ago, we had 10,000 people come through the door. So for us in Dillon, it's good. It's great. We get to see all kinds of new faces and.
Beth, are you folks in Dillon privy to some of the strategic initiatives with Patagonia? You know, 5 to 10 years from now, where the company's headed, how it might be reinventing itself, or
Patagonia's
going?
been pretty notorious for open book with all of us, sometimes to a fault, you know, and then if it doesn't go that way, you know, but with plans and things that they're initiating. I think for the most part, especially with the Vote the Environment campaign and since the election is over, it's a real big push for the environment. And that's always sort of the underlying theme.
I just wonder if Patagonia is kind of one of the leaders of the outdoor recreation goods market. I wonder if there's been much sort of copying of your environmental initiatives or your marketing strategies or your labor practices throughout the industry.
We would love to see more on the environmental initiatives.
Yeah.
Like for instance with the PCR, we could have had that, the rights to that and not let that out for a couple years, but right away they let that one out and said, you know, anyone that wants to jump on that bandwagon, we'd love to have it. And as well with the organic cotton and products such as that, they're encouraging other folks in the industry to get involved with that. The 1% for the environment, 1% for the planet, they're encourage businesses to get involved and give 1% of their earnings back to the planet as a tax. And so that one's great, and Yvonne was helped get that one together.
Can you talk more about that? I mean, where does that mark down? I mean, that's the 1%, is it back to?
Back to environmental groups. There's a great brochure here, the 1%, right here. And that's where his quote, every time I've done the right thing for the environment, it's made me a profit. And it talks in, there's a site that you can visit, and it just talks about effective environmental groups, making sure that the money's funneled down to them. Frontline activists. But if you want to.
A question on the same line. I'm looking at your little poster here, which is on the backside of you can't see.
Oh, okay.
Patagonia's environmental philosophies, and one of them is influence other companies. And I heard your answer a minute ago. You want to encourage other companies to whatever. I'm really interested. How do you actually do that encouraging? What's the way in which that occurs?
On a local level, I can answer that. Just within our shops, we will have petitions that we encourage the other shop owners to have, or we will have events and activities that we would like to, that we have them come and also help facilitate getting others aboard. As far as, I don't know, Kathy, you
I was
have
gonna say, I think
some?
some of it's branding, like what Beth has in her hand there. There's a logo that you can display. Once you're part of the 1% for the planet, you become part of the marketing effort with that. You're listed everywhere. You get to use that as a sticker. You know, you can, part of it is a group effort as far as the branding of the organic cotton or the, you know, where it was grown. You're helping with they help with the links with the vendors.
Didn't I hear you say something about stuff that you were gonna have in your shops too, that Patagonia would carry some stuff if,
The organic cotton.
was that organic cotton? If they showed that they had organic stuff, then.
Oh, okay. Oh, thanks.
kind of
That's definitely a direct link. For instance, Picante is, if they are now 100% organic cotton, and we carry their products in our store, and so we buy it from them, and then we're a vendor for them. And so that encourages them to either be 100% PCR, 100% organic cotton, or, and we won't sell any garments in our store unless they're 100% organic.
I think what I was wondering particularly is whether some of the key personnel of Patagonia, probably at the headquarters, actually the part of their job duty is to call on other major corporate offices and in face-to-face visits with other corporate executives and leadership, create some encouragement in a personal way. We're doing this, would you consider coming along? Is that, do you know if any?
It is. And in fact, I know that with Levi, they buy a lot of organic, but you never hear about it because, and they probably in a lot of our jeans that we wear is organic cotton, but there isn't enough organic cotton to service Levi. So but they buy it up so that they can keep the organic industry going. And that was definitely a conversation that someone from Patagonia had with them. And I would love, that would be a great job to have, to, you know, get out, but I don't know who has it, but that happened with Picante, that happened with Tibetan Trader. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Esprit? Was that
Esprit.
another one? Esprit.
And that's three that I know that within. There's one other thing I want to talk about. It's called beneficial teas. If you go to Patagonia.com and for instance, Homeward just came, and I met someone, Erin from Homeward, and she needs T-shirts for her organization. Patagonia provides blank organic cotton T-shirts and caps in the bags that you received when you came in the door. They're organic bag, and they donate or offer at a low price, especially to environmental organizations, these blank T-shirts, so that when you are trying for your fundraising efforts, that you have these organic blanks that you can put your logo on. It makes it really nice.
I just wanted to mention, in the new Patagonia catalog, it's the winter 2004. Yvonne Chenard has an essay in here on corporate responsibility for planet Earth, and he lays out in here 5 steps, basically of how to behave responsibly to the environment. And I think this is kind of maybe the direction of the future of what Patagonia is looking at. It's really good. It's a great essay, and there's a bunch of copies here if you guys want to grab them up later.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. That's one thing that makes us proud to work for Patagonia, is that they would offer a middle spread like that they could put maybe some prime product on and sell, and makes it nice that they would put that instead.
I just want to thank you guys.
Yeah.
Because, for years, I worked in the environmental movement, and Patagonia is all I supported. So we support our environmental programs, cash grants, gave us beneficial teas, organic teas, and we just came out. And, I'm still wearing your gear. It lasts forever, and in fact, I just sent in a bag, and customer service sent me a new one that I received years ago.
Oh, good.
And I just want to thank you.
We did a fun thing with you guys with the Buffalo Phil campaign. Is Kathy had a source up towards Whitefish where she used vegetable dye, and so remember we tie-dyed those? Those, and this color just was wonderful and still stayed. And then we did the Buffalo Nations, I would guess it was Buffalo Nations back then, and we're able to give those to their for their volunteers, and then also sell them in the parks for you guys to raise money. That worked out well. But in Dillon, we give out $45,000 to environmental organizations per fiscal year, and we give $6,000 in product at cost. That's a lot of product. So if you guys are or know of someone that needs for their fundraising efforts, or to thank their volunteers if they don't have any money to give, we can give them some product. Make sure that our numbers on most of the back of the catalogs, give us a call. And
I was wondering, I guess because I don't know, is Patagonia a publicly traded company or is it completely private?
it's private. Yvonne, at one point Yvonne and his brother owned one of the stores, but it's mostly the Yvonne Chenard and Melinda. That question comes up a lot.
Well, it seemed like it's a lot easier to do a lot of these risky ventures
Right.
in that situation. Yeah.
There's a book here, the Environmental Initiatives. If you're wondering, gosh, I wonder if we fit their criteria. This has the criteria for our grants, and it has who not only our store, but the whole company has given money to for the last fiscal year. This comes out every year. And plus the graphics is just beautiful on this. I'm encouraging them to make a t-shirt. But this is really good because it has the guidelines inside, and the guidelines can also be found on Patagonia.com. So if and we are really encouraging new groups, because oftentimes we see the same group, which we love to help keep supporting, but we want to also see some new groups. You guys have any other questions? Yeah.
Really like to thank Beth and Kathy and Holly, who's here with us as well, for setting up this lovely display for you guys to enjoy and also giving us a presentation. They also donated a tremendous amount of stuff for us today, the pop bottle fleece, and then also the canvas bags from came in. And I'd like to thank MCAT for hosting us again. We also had food from Good Food Store, and Big Sky Brewing, of course, donated the beer. So we'd like to thank all of those folks. And again, please go to our website if you don't have a calendar of our events. That's www.sustainablebusinesscouncil.org. And we'd love to have you come to some other things and join us again. Do you have any questions about SBC?